Eccoci live, io sono Vincenzo e questo è The Long Journey. Dopo esserci sparati con il cannone lunare, o quella specie di aggeggio creato dai Ramiani, siamo dunque arrivati qua. Questo è il villaggio degli Alatiani, questa è la guardia che controlla. Noi bisogna trovare un modo per saltare dall'altra parte. Quindi ci avviciniamo.
There's a slight updraft here.
Vedete, c'è una corrente ascensionale che non ci fa.
The wind is channeled through that chasm down there and blown out and up here.
Prima di vedere come riusciamo a superare questo passaggio, diamo un'occhiata al diario di April. Sabato mezzogiorno circa, scoperto perché sull'isola si sente questo rombo, non è l'imminente eruzione di un vulcano come temevo io, un uomo grandissimo che russa, il rumore che produce viene trasmesso da una specie di telefono ad un'enorme cassa acustica che si trova in mezzo all'isola. Con questo tremendo rumore di fondo nessuno qui riesce più a lavorare, questo è un vero peccato, per cui si deve, cioè io devo svegliare questo Quaman. Ma come? Beh, la soluzione di questo enigma sta nei telefoni che sono sparsi nell'isola, almeno penso. C'è solo questa pagina, quindi non si aggiunge niente di... Pensavo ci fosse molto di più da leggere. Allora, come vedete c'è questa corrente ascensionale. Qui c'è l'Alatiano.
It's a leathery creature with wings, like a mix between a giant bat and a pterodactyl. It must be one of the Elation. It looks more like a warrior than a storyteller, though. I hope it speaks English. I mean, Altung.
Parliamo un po' con lui.
Can you help me across?
Vediamo se può aiutarci.
You are human, and we don't allow human strangers into our village. If you wish to trade, let us know where your ship is anchored, and we will send traders to you with our merchandise.
I don't have a ship, and I didn't come here to trade. I came to talk to your leaders.
I'm sorry, but we don't allow strangers into our village.
Possiamo mentire di essere un mercante. Oppure
What's up
chiedere
this road?
dove porta questa strada.
The Elation village of Tamar.
Where's the Elation village of Tamar?
Dov'è? Dietro a questa porta.
Up this road and into the volcano.
Non è
Isn't it
pericoloso
dangerous
vivere
to live
qui?
inside a volcano?
This volcano has not erupted for thousands of years, and the gods protect us. We are safe here.
Chiediamo se c'è un'altra strada.
Is there another way to get into the volcano?
No. This pass is the only way.
Diciamo che siamo convinte che ci sia un altro
I'm
passaggio.
sure there's a secret cave somewhere that leads into the volcano.
No, there isn't.
There's always a secret cave.
Giusto.
Not here.
Are you
Davvero sicuro che
absolutely
non
sure
c'è?
there's no secret cave?
Human, you talk too much, even for an Elation.
Thank you.
Yes, but you must leave now.
Quindi, come passare questo? Noi abbiamo delle pozioni. Abbiamo questa. Questa rende invisibile, non è. Questa. Leggeri come foglie. Questa. Legami magici del vento. Noi possiamo usare quella del vento per la corrente ascensionale.
That's the last of it, unfortunately.
E poi abbiamo quest'altra, quella leggeri come una foglia. Noi la prendiamo, la usiamo su di noi e
Oh, God, I think I'm gonna throw up. That was so not appetizing. Weirdest thing, though. I do feel lighter. Like I lost 90 pounds. I can't even imagine what people would pay for this stuff back home.
e magicamente con questa voliamo. Olle, che bravi che siamo.
Human, you flew across the chasm. You don't have wings, but still, you fly like the Elation.
Believe me, I'm as shocked as you are.
Are you the Windbringer?
Che
What's
cos'è la
the
portatrice
Windbringer?
di vento?
It's a prophecy amongst my people.
Un'altra
Of
profezia da
course, there's no
rispettare.
escaping the prophecies.
Tutte noi
It's
bisogna
said
risolvere
that
le
someone
profezie.
not of the
Bene.
elation shall come among us to float on the wind like an elation, to learn our stories, to bring the wind back to us, and to bring us into a new and happier age.
Is that all? You know, I'm starting to forget how simple my life used to be. Family, friends, grades, boys, no prophecies, nobody looking to me for salvation.
I don't understand, Windbringer. You should speak with our teller up in the city. She'll be wanting to see you, I'm sure. We've waited for the Windbringer for a very long time.
The teller? Thanks.
No, Windbringer, thank you.
Thanks for your help.
You should go see the teller. She'll want to speak with you.
Ok, entriamo. Ecco, questo è il villaggio. Come vedete qui c'è un alatiano.
It's an old man, I think. Difficult to tell, since they're all kind of wrinkly.
Là un po' con lui.
Hello.
Good day, stranger. What would you hear among the elation?
I need to speak with the teller.
The teller? Go down into the city and you will see the castle. The teller, she keeps to the tower. She's old and her eyes don't take well to the sun.
Hello.
Non ho niente da dirci.
Did you see the teller yet?
No.
No.
Then you should.
Andiamo. Entriamo. Vedete c'è una bambina alatiana. C'è la guardia del castello, quindi andiamo alla guardia del castello. Andiamo nel cercare di entrare nel castello e parlare con
Halt! Who would visit the teller?
My name's April.
And what would you with the teller, human?
I'm not sure, but I need to speak with somebody in charge.
The teller is our teacher and our mother, but she will not speak with foreigners who walk into our city. And how, pray tell, did you get here? The road is closed and guarded.
It's got to be my female charm.
It will not work on me, human. Please, leave our village and return to your ship. Halt! Who would
Parliamo
visit
di
the
nuovo.
teller?
Diciamo che siamo la portatrice
I'm
del
the
vento.
Windbringer.
The Windbringer? You are not the Windbringer. Are you?
How else would I have been able to get up here? I am the Windbringer.
If so, you must prove that you are of the elation. There are 4 tales from the 4 corners of the world that you must know by heart.
E noi dobbiamo
They are the
sentire
tale of wind,
4 storie.
the tale of stars, the tale of sea, and the tale of homecoming. I will ask you one question from each tale, and you must answer each correctly, or you cannot be the Windbringer. Are you ready?
No, give me some time to prepare.
Then return when you are ready, and I will test your knowledge of the 4 tales.
Quindi bisogna andare dagli abitanti di questo villaggio a sentire le 4 storie. Qui come vedete c'è un'altra latiana.
It's a young Elation female working with clay.
Andiamo a parlare con lei.
Be careful, don't come too close. I'm almost done with this pot.
Sorry.
Are you here to buy pottery? I didn't think traders were allowed up here.
No, I came to speak with your teller.
Really? I didn't know the teller spoke with anyone from the outside. You must be a very special girl.
Supposedly. My name's April, by the way.
Nima is my name. Nima of Ta'ama. The only Elation village on Elase.
Diciamo che apprezziamo i suoi
I like
lavori.
your pottery.
It's our craft. That and storytelling. But storytelling can't buy merchandise or food.
I know a lot of people who live by telling stories, although I guess that's kind of different.
They are lucky then. Not that I don't enjoy making pottery. It's good to feel the wet clay between my claws, to shape it into whatever I wish. It's almost like creating a new life, I think. I don't have a husband yet, so I haven't tried. Have you? Do you have a husband and children?
Neither, thank God. I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
I was 18 turnings this spring. I'm ready for a husband, but I've yet to court anyone who could make me soar on the winds. I think the men of Tam are dull and timid.
What about the guard on the road below the village? He's our age, isn't he?
Isam? He's quite pretty, and his wings are big, but I don't think he likes me. He never looks at me or talks to me.
That doesn't mean anything. He could just be shy.
Maybe you could talk to him, find out who he likes, but don't say I sent you.
Bisogna anche combinare i
Sure,
matrimoni
I can do that.
in questo gioco. Facciamo
Thank
tutto
you,
noi,
April.
salviamo i mondi, combiniamo i matrimoni. Facciamo tutto. Vediamo se lei sa una delle 4 storie.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
I had to learn the tale of homecoming. It took a long time, but I think I got it now. I'm better with pottery than I am with the tales, unfortunately. Do you want to hear it?
Please.
Very well. This is the tale of homecoming, my tale, and I shall tell it in my own words, as told to me by my teacher, in her words, and by her teacher in turn. Moran was a handsome young Alatian man with strong wings and a hardy beak. He lived below the white cliffs, where the water was salty and the fish plentiful. Moran was betrothed to Inara, the loveliest girl there ever was. She was fair and slender and tall, and her eyes were the clearest shade of blue. But Moran was hesitant to enter into union with Inara, to become her husband and to give her children. He would always come up with a new excuse for why they had to wait a little while longer. Now, Inara was skilled at pottery, but even more so with stories, and the teller of the village had many times asked Inara to be her apprentice, to learn all the tales, so that someday she could take over as the teller. But Inara refused, knowing that if she did accept the teller's offer, she would never be able to marry Moran, because a teller cannot have a husband nor children of her own. Her refusal to become the teller's apprentice was unheard of, because who could refuse such an honor? But to Inara, love was more important. Her love for Moran was beyond honor, beyond reason. But despite Inara's love, Moran was still hesitant. And then one day he told Inara, "I am traveling on a pilgrimage to the far shores. I will be gone for some time, and while I am traveling, and in accordance with our traditions, I will be freed from our betrothal. Not until I come back will the bond between us be renewed." It was not unusual for a young Alatian man at that time to go on a pilgrimage, and the bond between the betrothed would often be cut while he was away, to be formed again upon his return. But Inara was heartbroken, because she had thought that Moran would soon want to marry her. When Moran saw her tears, he said to her, "Do not weep. When I come back, I promise I will marry you. Just wait for me, and stay with your pots, to make the time pass quickly." And then Moran left on his pilgrimage to the far shores. Many years went by, and Moran had exciting adventures on the far shores. But by and by, he began to long for home, and for Inara, and now he had finally realized that he loved her, and that he wanted to marry her. But when he returned, he could not find Inara amongst the pot makers. He went to visit her family, and they told him that, after waiting for many years, Inara accepted the teller's offer of apprenticeship. And that when the teller left on the last wind during the previous winter, Inara herself became the new teller. Angry, Moran made his way to the teller's nest, and when he saw Inara, he said to her, "You promised me you would wait." But Inara did not say a single word in answer. She just turned around and lifted something wrapped in leaves from the cot behind her and gave it to Moran. Moran unwrapped the package, and inside he found an old pot, cracked and broken in two. "What is this pot?" he asked. "And why did you not wait for me like I asked you to?" And finally Inara spoke, and she said to Moran, "I made this pot for you, my dear Moran, when you left. because I wanted it to be my marriage gift to you. But when many, many years passed, I finally realized that you did not love me the way I loved you, and to live hoping otherwise would be death. But I want to marry you, cried Moran. I came back. But Inara just nodded at the broken pot in Moran's hands and said, like an old pot that is left without care, a heart may break in two, and a broken heart can never be mended. And so Inara turned away, never to speak with Moran again, and Moran's heart, like the pot that was left untended, broke in two, because absence makes a heart brittle. This was the tale of homecoming,
Bella
my
storia,
tale,
vero?
and I told it in my own words as told to me by my teacher, and as I will tell it to my student when the time comes.
Thank you, Nima.
You're welcome, April.
Ok, andiamo a vedere se questa bambina
It's a little elation girl.
se conosce qualche storia.
Hi there. What you doing?
Playing?
Yeah, what are you playing?
Nothing. My daddy's in the castle watch. He's allowed to sharpen his claws.
Really? My daddy owns a farm.
Yeah? Do you have animals there?
Sure. He has some cows and some horses and...
What's cows and horses?
Giustamente.
Well, cows are big, brown, fat animals with 4 legs and white spots. And they go moo a lot.
And horses?
Horses are fun to be around. They run really fast and they can jump over tall fences and they look beautiful and graceful. But the best thing about horses is that you can ride them.
I can run fast, too. But I can't fly yet. My wings aren't fully formed. But when I grow up, I'll fly far away and see everything. I'll go see our horses.
That would be nice. My name's April. What's yours?
Saina, will you be my friend, April?
Of course, Saina, as long as you promise to be my friend.
I promise.
Abbiamo un'amica anche alatiana, vedi? Chiediamo se conosce
Do
la
you know where the
narratrice.
teller lives?
Over there in the castle tower. My daddy's watching the entrance so that only nice people can get in.
Do you think he'll let me in?
I don't know if you're nice, but you have to ask my daddy.
Vediamo dove
Where
sono
are
gli
the
altri
other children in
bambini.
your village?
È l'unica bambina.
Oh, they're in school now.
And why aren't you in school?
Because I'm ahead of everyone else. I'm really smart, you
troppo
know.
brava per
I'm the
andare a
only
scuola.
youngling to have learned the first tale this soon. So some days, I get to do what I want. It's a little boring, though. I wish I was in school. At least there I could sing and play and jump around with all the other children.
Perché
Why
non
don't
ci
you
va
go
lo
to school
stesso?
anyway?
Because they say I would just distract the other children who are still learning their first tales. It's not fair. I mean, I get to play by myself and everything, but that's not fun all day. And my mommy's working on her pottery at home, and she doesn't want me disturbing her because she might make a mistake. But the day after tomorrow, I get to go back to school, because then we're going to learn some more flying lessons. They're always a lot of fun, and I'm getting pretty good at that too.
I bet. I wish I had wings like you do.
Yes, they're very good to have when you fly.
Tutti vorrebbero volare. Deve essere molto bello. Vediamo se
Do
conosce
you know
una
one
delle
of the
storie.
4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Yes, my mommy taught me the tale of the stars. It's a really pretty story. Do you want me to tell it?
Please, Saina, I would like that very much.
Okay. This is my tale, the tale of stars, and I tell it to you in my own words, as it was told to me by my teacher, in her words. In the small village of Jinjay near the rumbling hills of Onion, there lived a girl called Mona. She was a curious girl, and she would always get in the way of grown elation. Go play somewhere else, they would say to Mona, but she didn't want to play with the other children. She wanted to be where the grown-ups were, to see what they were doing, and learn from them. But one day, after getting many complaints from the pottery makers, and guardsmen, and traders, and soldiers in the village, Mona's mother told her that she wasn't to interfere with the grown-ups anymore, and that instead she could go play with the other children, or sit still and draw or work with clay. But Mona was always curious, and now, since she wasn't to be among the grown elation anymore, she decided to go exploring the forest that lay just outside of the village of Jinjay. She had many times been forbidden to enter the forest because it could be a dangerous place, but Mona was very curious. Of course she wasn't planning on going far into the forest, but then her eye caught sight of a white flufftail hopping through the tall grass, and Mona, curious as ever, gave chase. The flufftail ran away into the forest, and Mona followed, blind to where she was going, and interested only in catching the white flufftail so that she could keep it as a pet. But then, after a good while, the flufftail disappeared into a hole in the ground, leaving Mona alone in a small clearing, somewhere deep inside the forest. She was exhausted after running after the flufftail for so long, and as she looked around the clearing at the unfamiliar trees and flowers, she realized that she hadn't been paying attention to where she was going. Not for the first time, her curiosity had gotten the better of her, but this time it was serious. Mona was too young to fly, and she had very little sense of direction, and chasing the white flufftail had made her dizzy and tired. It was getting darker, and Mona was all alone in the deep, dangerous forest, too sleepy and too scared to be able to go anywhere. Mona curled up with her wings wrapped around her under the leaves of a tree and began crying. Soon it got really dark, and somewhere, not far away, wolves started howling at the moon. Mona was so scared she was petrified, but after a while her exhaustion got the better of her, and she fell asleep. She woke up when she heard a voice calling her from somewhere far above. Looking up at the starry sky, Mona saw a vision of the spirits of 5 tellers gazing down at her. "You have let your curiosity lead you astray," said one. "You are lost, and you deserve to be lost," said another. "Poor little girl," said a third. "We will help you home," said a fourth. "But remember this," said the 5th spirit. "We will lead you back to your village and to your mother only if you promise us one thing." "I promise," said Mona. "Whatever it is, I promise I will do it." "Very well," said the 1st spirit. "You will make the story of this night into your own tale, and you will call it the Tale of Stars." "It will be a tale to warn the curious to be careful," continued the 3rd spirit, "and to not let their curiosity get the better of them. And," said the 2nd spirit, "to remind the elation that the spirits of their tellers watch out for them when they most need it." And so the spirits of the 5 tellers guided Mona through the forest, and by dawn she was home. And Mona did tell her tale, the Tale of Stars, to everyone in the village, so that everyone would remember that the curious must be cautious, and that the spirits of the tellers are always watching. This was my tale, the Tale of Stars, and I told it in my own words as my teacher did to me.
That was a beautiful tale, Saina.
Thank you.
Have fun, Saina.
Are you leaving?
Yes, I'm sorry, but there are some things I have to do.
Grown-ups are always too busy.
Torniamo indietro dal vecchietto che era qui. Vediamo lui che altra storia ha da raccontarci.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of Wind, Stars, Sea, and Homecoming?
Mine is the tale of sea, human.
Would you mind telling it to me?
I would be happy to do so.
Sentiamo quest'altra
This
storia.
is the tale of sea, told in my own words, as it was told to me by my teacher in his words, and to him by his teacher in his words. This was a very, very long time ago, when the Alatian were a strong people, and we could spend days riding the hot winds above the seas. We hunted fish then, and we were at war with the Maerum, the wet-tails. Achilles was one of the strongest warriors there was. His claws were sharp and long, his beak pointy, and his teeth strong. Achilles was admired by everyone in his clan, and because of this, he was cocky and arrogant. So one day, the teller of Achilles' city asked him to perform a very important and very special duty, to bring a sacred jewel to the teller of an Alatian town across the sea. This particular jewel was very important because it signified a union between the two towns, and it would benefit the people of both that it was delivered safely and promptly. Achilles grinned and told the teller that he would deliver the jewel both quickly and safely, and that she was not to worry. But the teller did worry, because Achilles was young and too sure of himself. But she wanted to test him and to teach him that sharp claws, a pointy beak, and strong teeth are not all a warrior needs, that a warrior must also be wise and careful. So Achilles set out across the sea on his flight. It was on the fourth day that he spotted something in the water that caught his attention, and forgetting his duty and following his curiosity, Achilles dived towards the water to investigate. When he came closer, he saw that there were Maerum in the water, foolishly hunting close to the surface, and Achilles saw an opportunity to again prove his might as a great warrior to his people, and to capture the fins of a few wet-tails. But this time, Achilles' arrogance got the better of him, because the Maerum had set a trap. As he dived towards the Maerum with his claws, a spear shot up from the water to hit him. Achilles struck the water and dropped the jewel he was carrying, and it was all he could do not to drown. Achilles was bleeding, and the Maerum were grabbing onto his wings and his legs, but he fought bravely, and finally he managed to escape. But even though he now lived, he was dead inside, because the shame of losing the sacred jewel would always be with him. Achilles could not
Mai essere
return to
troppo
his
sicuri di
village
sé.
because he had neglected his duty to his teller and to his people. And so he went away to a small island where he could be alone. To himself and his people, Achilles now became the lost one. He who had been on a sacred mission, but had failed in his arrogance. A year passed, and one day Achilles met with human traders from a ship that came close to his island. From the traders, Achilles heard speak of a hideous creature that lived in the sea, the octowoe. The octowoe was said to have a third eye, like a jewel, and that this eye pulled hapless sailors into its deadly eight-armed grasp. Achilles knew immediately that the octowoe's third eye had to be the jewel that he lost in the sea a year ago, and he now saw the opportunity to redeem himself. But Alatian were not used to water, and the thought of submerging himself in the cold, harsh ocean chilled Achilles to his heart. But he was the lost one, and if in his death he could at the very least redeem himself, to his own heart then it would be worth it. So Achilles fashioned himself a spear, because in the water his claws and his beak would be too slow, and he flew out to where the octowoe was last seen. And then Achilles dived into the sea. The dark water closed in on him, and his wings and legs went numb. But still Achilles kept pushing down until he saw the leg of the octowoe. Spotting Achilles, The Octo attacked, and Akala saw the monster's third eye, his sacred jewel, shining bright in the darkness, and his heart was filled with a sense of duty and courage that he had never felt before. But as he began fighting the eight-armed monster, Akala realized that if he were to fight like he usually did, he would not stand a chance. He would have to think differently. And so Akala tricked the Octo into following him through a tight chasm where the monster got stuck. And then he swam above it, and using his spear, tipped a rock on top of the Octo. Swimming back down again, the Octo was flailing helplessly. Now, almost out of air, Akala took the sacred jewel from the Octo's head and swam back up. Finally, Akala could deliver the sacred jewel to the town across the sea. And upon returning to his village, he went to the teller, bowed his head, and said, "Forgive me, teller, for in my arrogance I thought I could do everything. But I could not, and I became the lost one because of it." "You were lost," said the teller, "but you are no more. Because now you see the limits of your own strength, and you will know that a warrior must be careful and wise, in addition to being strong and fierce."
La forza è
This
nullo
was
senza
the tale
controllo.
of C. And I told it in my own words, as told to me by my teacher.
Ok. Usciamo. E c'è l'ultima storia da sentire. Dalla...
So, Isam, that's your name, isn't it?
Yes, Isam of Tamar.
A good-looking guy like you must get a lot of attention from the girls, right?
Are you asking me for courtship?
Me? No. Wings don't do anything for me. No, I was just thinking, maybe you had your eye out for somebody special?
I'm without a mate. The women of Tamar are cold and unfriendly, and whenever I try to talk to one of them, she ignores me.
Even Nima?
Nima? No, she's too pretty for me. She won't appreciate my attention.
This is like high school. Trust me, Isam. You go talk to her one of these days, and I'm sure you'll find you have a lot in common. Just be yourself, okay?
You think so? Perhaps you are right. I will do as you say, Windbringer. Thank you.
Oltre a fare le profezie bisogna anche risolvere I problemi d'amore degli abitanti di Alais.
Do
Chiediamogli
you know one of
questa
the four
storia.
tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
C'è rimasta solo quella dei venti.
Mine is the tale of winds, Windbringer.
Infatti.
Do you wish to hear it?
Very much.
Then I shall tell it. This is the tale of winds, my tale, and I pledge to tell it in my own words, as told in turn by my teacher. In the village of Karan, in the mountains of tall winds, there lived a young Alatian woman named Iwana. Iwana had one desire above all others, to soar higher and farther than anyone else. And even though her wings were no broader, nor her body sleeker than anyone else's, she pursued this foolish desire without rest. And as time passed, she did soar higher, and she did fly farther than the other young Alatian in her village, and her name became known far and wide amongst the tribes of the mountains of tall winds. But still, Iwana was not happy. She was not happy because, in her vanity, even though she was a better flyer than almost everyone else, and to her eyes, she was still not good enough. She wanted to be so much better than anyone else that she would be remembered for all time as the best flyer amongst all the Alatian. And so one day, Iwana decided to climb to the top of Mount Bakta'ana, the Tower of Light, and to soar from those giddy heights to the ends of the world. Her friends and her family pleaded with her not to, because every Alatian knew that to soar from such heights was dangerous, that at such heights the air was thin and the winds treacherous. But Iwana would not listen, and on a cold and clear morning she climbed up the Tower of Light to the rock and the ice at the very top. From there she could see to the ends of the world. And it brought tears to her eyes to know that now, finally, she would be greater and better than any elation before her. And so Iwana spread her wings and leaped off the mountain. Those who watched her from far below said that for a split moment Iwana soared, and she soared higher and farther than any elation before or since. But then the treacherous winds caught a hold of her, and the thin air made her plummet towards the ground, and to fall to her death amongst the rocks at the base of the mountain. In her vanity, Iwana could not see beyond her desire to be the very best. And vanity always stands to fall. That was the tale of winds, my tale, and I told it in my own words, as told to me in turn by my teacher.
Questa era la più corta di tutti. Però comunque sono storie che di insegnamento a non essere né vanitosi né troppo sicuri di se stessi né essere troppo curiosi e non rendersi conto di quello che si fa. Diciamo, sono insegnamenti di vita. Quindi andiamo qua e rispondiamo a queste 4 domande sperando di ricordarmi bene le risposte.
Are you ready for the questions now?
Vai.
Yes, ask me the questions.
In the Tale of Winds, which mountain did Iwana fall from in her vain attempt to fly higher and further than anyone else?
Bactana, la torre della luce.
Mount Bactaana, the Tower of Light.
That is correct. In the Tale of Stars, what did Mona see in the sky that helped her find her way home?
Gli spiriti delle 5
The
narratrici.
spirits of 5 tellers.
That is correct. In the Tale of Sea, what creature did the Lost One battle in his quest to recover the sacred jewel?
L'ottavo.
The Octavo?
That is correct. My final question to you is this. In the Tale of Homecoming, what was given to Moran by his teller when he returned from his pilgrimage?
Il vaso. Vaso rotto.
A broken pot, to teach him that absence may break a heart in two.
Siamo
You
troppo
have correctly
bravi.
answered all my questions, and so have proven your knowledge of the 4 tales. You are the Windbringer. The teller would see you presently.
Andiamo a parlare. Eccola qui. La narratrice Alatiana.
She's the teller. She must be over 100 years old.
Come closer, human. Closer. I cannot see your face. Closer still. Come sit here by me.
Essendo vecchia ha un po' di problemi di vista.
There you are. You see, my eyes are not what they used to be. Ages ago, I could spot a ladybug crawling up a straw of grass from 15 tree lengths up. Now, I have a hard time seeing my supper. But my ears, balance be praised, my ears, they are as good as ever. I could hear you outside, learning the tales my children tell. You are a good listener and a fast learner.
They were interesting stories, and your people told them well.
That is what we do. The elation are the keepers of the tales, and I am their teller, the one who must know all the tales told since the day we came to this world.
How can you do that? How can you remember every story ever told?
The secret is to tell them often and to tell them in your own words, not the words of your ancestors.
Doesn't that mean that the stories change with every generation?
Yes, as all tales must. Change is important. Otherwise, the tales will have no meaning to us. They will just be words, and we do not care about the words. We care about what the words tell us.
How long have your people been telling
Quanto
stories?
tempo raccontano le storie?
Since the beginning, human. Since we came to this world a long, long time ago.
You're not from Earth? From Arcadia?
Not according to our tales. We came on a great wind before the divide, when the earth was one and humans had yet to learn of magic and science. But we were a different people then, and the tales we tell from that time are vague and incomplete. Like myths and legends, the younger Alatian pay little attention to these tales. Sometimes I worry they will be lost with me, these tales, and I am getting old. Very old.
Diciamo che
I'm the
siamo,
Windbringer.
diciamo che
I
siamo così.
know you are. It's strange to me to hear those words spoken. I did not think they would be in my lifetime. But here you are, standing in front of me as real as the sky is blue.
I'm sorry I have to ask, but what is it that the Windbringer is supposed to do for you?
I did not expect you to walk in here and have all the answers, child. The balance has both blessed you and cursed you, and it has sent you here to do what it wills. The Windbringer is said to be the first sign of the great wind that will take us away from here. For a long time, the Alatian have lost the strength they used to have. Our bones have become weak, and our wings fragile. Where we used to be able to soar for days on strong winds, we are now using our legs to walk rather than fly. Why this is, we do not know.
10 yen.
You know of the reason for this?
I'm just guessing, but it makes sense. Go on.
The tales also say that the Windbringer will unite us with our past and end the age-old strife.
I know. You must make peace and be reunited with the Maerum. You share a common ancestry.
I have always thought we did. The tales were too similar, the signs clear. But my people, they will have a difficult time understanding why and how this can be.
If you don't, both the Elation and the Maerum will die out. When war broke out between your people and you were forced to move up into the mountains, it compromised a precarious symbiosis. A substance called tanyan was abundant where the Maerum and the Elation lived in close proximity. It brought fish and heat and light to both your people. But now, living up in the mountains, your way of life, your diet, your customs and habits, they've all changed. And that's probably the cause of your brittle bones and fragile wings.
Then we must make peace with the Maerum and restore the balance between us, so as to strengthen us both and prepare us for the journey that will surely come soon. When our sitting is over, I will speak to my people, and I will elect one representative from the Elation to meet with the Maerum in the place of your choosing to open a dialogue.
I came to you to find answers to some important questions.
Certo, bisogna chiedere.
Ask, and I will try my best to answer.
Chiediamo se conosce il dio
Have you
antico.
heard of an ancient god or dragon that lives beneath the sea?
Once, long ago, when my people lived in harmony with the Maerum, there were stories of an old god worshipped by the Maerum who resided deep in the darkest depths of the ocean. According to legend, the old god had once brought the Maerum into their realm, into the ocean, and he was now sleeping, resting before the journey back.
Back where?
To a great ocean amongst the stars. When the time came, he would gather the Maerum and bring them home with him, back to their world, to their ocean. Strangely enough, we have a similar tale. It is said that the great wind that brought us here will someday return to bring us back to a place where we can soar forever on warm winds.
Like heaven.
In a way, perhaps, but without the need for any of us to die. The great wind will just sweep us up and carry us away. Every evening before I go to sleep, I recite this tale to myself. It is a comforting one.
Chiediamo se sanno qualcosa della stirpe
What do you know
greca.
about the Dryad kin?
Kin are numbered 4, or so our tales tell. 2 in this world, 2 in the other, the mirror world, the white and the blue, the red and the green.
Do you know where they are?
No, the tales never say. The kin are elusive. They keep to themselves. I have never seen one myself, and I doubt any of my kind has. The tales do say that our past and our future are tied to the fate of the kin, but how I would not pretend to know. This is one tale that is yet to be told.
Do you know anything about the Guardian's realm?
Chiediamo anche se stanno nel
This
regno del
is
guardiano.
human business. Would you not know more than I?
Non sa niente,
Your
quindi
people are the keepers of the tales. You remember more than humankind has forgotten. Please, I need to hear what you know.
That is very little. The Guardian's realm is home to the Guardian in his tower. No one is permitted within except the Guardian who was, the Guardian who is, and the Guardian who will be. And of course the Dryad kin, who were instrumental in its making.
Have you ever heard of the existence of a hidden entrance to his realm?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have heard tell of such a thing, though I would not know where it is. I gather that one of the kin may be able to tell you.
Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
abbiamo finito con le domande.
I am glad I could help you with some answers.
I guess it's time for you to talk to your people and for me to make arrangements with the Maerum.
Where do you wish for our meeting to take place, Windbringer?
You want me to decide? Well, I know. Send your ambassador down to the ancient caves by the beach. Inside, there are remnants of an old Alatian settlement and a Maerum city. It's a good place for your two people to meet, don't you think?
Yes. And could you ask if they would bring their half of the stone?
The stone? You have the other half?
We have held on to it for centuries, knowing that someday it would be of use to the Windbringer.
It will, trust me.
Then we must make haste and arrangements. It is an important day, so let us not waste light. Go and wait for my ambassador in the caves.
Ok.
It's amazing. This place is so
Adesso stiamo
beautiful.
riunificando i due popoli.
Of sea and rock and mist. This scent is of home. This was home a long, long time ago, according to the tales. We lived in peace with the with the Maerum back then.
Now you'll be able to live in peace again. And with the Tanyan bringing fish to your doorstep, you'll be able to eat well and restore strength to your bones. Soon you might even be able to soar on the winds for days like you used to do.
I hope you are right, Windbringer. And I hope that the Maerum will see the sense in it too. They are coming, are they not?
They said they would. Hush, I hear something.
Eccola. Ecco the Maerum.
We are here, Water Stiller, as was promised.
Good. Now, as representatives of your respective peoples, you, the Queen of a Maerum city, and you, guard to the Alatian Teller, must fulfill the prophecy and join the two parts of the one stone.
We hope that our peoples may be joined again, Alatian, and that we may live in peace and prosper.
As do we, Maerum. And we pledge to do all we can for this to happen. The stone is now whole, Windbringer, and the Alatian and the Maerum will once again be as one. You may take it with you.
Thank you. The both of you.
Come now, April, and we will take you to our sleeping god. May his wisdom guide you and lead you down the right path.
Ok. Abbiamo riunificato i due popoli e siamo nel mare. Andare a parlare con il dio dormiente, che sarebbe uno dei draghi. Ok, prima di andare a parlare con il drago vediamo se lei ha aggiunto qualcosa al diario. No, vediamo. Si sabato tardo pomeriggio i Maerum e gli Alatiani sono ormai avviati a stringere una forte alleanza e spero che porti una vita felice ad entrambi. Hanno già sofferto abbastanza e sono proprio contenti di aver avuto la possibilità di aiutarli a conoscere il loro passato e affrontare insieme il futuro. Va bene, April, basta ora, stai andando sul sentimentale. Ma che ci posso fare? Sono data da fare per farli riavvicinare, accidenti. Avrò anch'io un po' di merito, no? Comunque il viaggio continua. Alla volta della tana del dio dormiente dei Maerum. Purtroppo gli Alatiani non mi hanno saputo dire tutto quello che avrei desiderato, ma almeno ho preso un'altra pietra e con questa siamo a 2. Sono sicura poi che questo dio, questo drago della stirpe drachica saprà darmi qualche risposta. Credo proprio di essermelo meritato. Ok, prima di andare dal drago direi di interrompere il video e di proseguire la prossima volta andando a parlare con questo drago e ottenendo quello che andiamo a chiedere da lui. Per ora è tutto, grazie per avermi seguito, ci vediamo la prossima volta, ciao!